I am recording now, so we can just start whenever. This intro is going to be horrendous. Make sure everything's out.
You could always change it. Edit it before you post it.
I gotta get that blue bar out of there. Alright. Mike, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Recording. Everybody's audio's working. Because I've done that too, where I record an entire podcast and didn't get any of our audio. I'll mute that one.
That was a fun episode.
Just Tony talking.
I listened
to
to
himself.
half the conversation.
Alright, so I have to sell out here in the beginning for a minute. So we will start in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so welcome to Quest for Pixels, the weekly playground chat that you never knew you missed. And this week we've got Mike and we've got Matt. Tony is off in Japan and doing fun Japan things, so we're trying to hold down the fort while he's gone. So this week is a little bit different since we have a guest on. We're going to skip over the week in review and jump right into the goodness that Matt has brought us. So Matt, you were working on YouTube videos, and you've kind of been... I've noticed you everywhere over the last few years. I mean, because I've seen you in Facebook groups and Twitter and all over the place. So if you kind of want to give us the rundown on you and your gaming past and everything like that.
Well, I don't even know where to start. In terms of gaming past, I'm probably the old man here out of the group. So, grew up with the Atari, Commodore 64, NES, all that stuff. So essentially Nintendo fanboy. Had a PS2 back in the day until it crapped out. But in terms of that stuff I'm doing, I was doing a little YouTube thing called Nintendo Memoirs, just a little vlog thing. I was in the process of rebranding, and and when you're trying to do things at 2 o'clock in the morning, you don't think straight, and you kind of accidentally I went to delete the email account to set up my new one, and I ended up deleting my whole YouTube channel. But
Alright,
anyhow,
so that's
it is
why
coming.
we couldn't find you.
It's okay. It's coming back. It's just going to be instead of doing the Nintendo Memoirs, I'm just going to keep it as like Skinny Matt. And I started to upload another video, and funnel YouTube. 4 hours later, it decided to just crap out. I'm talking 90-second video. So, so eventually, you will see new stuff from me at my new channel, which is just going to be Skinny Matt. It's going to be, instead of having 2 separate Twitter accounts and stuff, it's just be my account I have here, Skinny Matt K. So just kind of simplifying and streamlining things. Because if anyone's seen who doesn't already follow me, been working around the house, changing carpet. I have 2 kids and a pregnant wife. So
So you're a bit busy is what you're saying.
yes, I got to simplify and streamline things.
Yeah, man, it's crazy how much time, like, putting up videos and doing all that kind of stuff takes. Like, when me and Tony first started, it was hard to balance everything because, you're trying to put out a video. Well, that takes not only the time it takes you to record it, but then going back in and editing and stuff like that. Like this, we used to do the podcast, sit up, edit it, and get it all released the same night. Whereas now, like on my weeks off, I jump into it on Tuesday morning because I'd sit up till 1 o'clock in the morning trying to edit everything. And to be fair, like there's a lot less editing now than in the very beginning because we were horrible at it. So we were editing out a lot of and dead air and stuff. So there was quite a bit of editing. But it's time consuming and trying to get everything balanced like that, especially when you got stuff going on and housework and normal going to work and all that stuff.
I'm still trying to figure out iMovies. So I mean, I'm just armed with essentially my phone here. I pretty much do everything in one take, and that's it.
Yep.
All the ahs, and awkwardness it stays in. Keeps it real.
Keeps it fresh.
That's why I like the live streams. Is because there's no redos. It's what you do is what you get.
It's a lot more relaxing, just streaming. It's a lot easier. Oh, Matt, did we lose you? Timestamp. 5:31.
Yeah, it's just frozen on the screen now.
Matt! Nope. He moved.
I saw a movement. So this will be something that gets edited out, right?
Yep. I jinxed ourselves. Yep. I wonder if he's...
I wonder if he can hear us.
I don't know. Oh shit, what'd I do? Maybe I'll just, I'll call him back really quick.
Oh, my turn to tell the computer to wait till later. Shane, can you get me some water, please? Yeah. The cup, the one that's not closer to you.
What's closer to the boxes?
The one that's on the coaster. Yeah. That was my water cup.
Oh, that's soda.
There he is. Maybe.
Water.
Nope.
Water. Huh?
It's got soda.
Are you sure? One of those had water. Did we lose him again?
Yeah. He said that either his computer was updating, or maybe it was Skype or something.
They both have soda. Can you just, the one that had the Sprite in it, can you just refill it with some more Sprite?
We need to make the switch over to Google Hangouts.
When you
are.
originally said,
Hey, I don't know.
and there he goes. When you
I could
originally
hear
said
everything that you guys were asking if I could hear you and stuff.
Oh.
Am I still here?
Yep. It just balanced
Okay.
out. What were you saying, Mike?
I was saying when you said earlier about Skype, I was like, I don't know if I even have Skype on this computer.
Yeah, we really need to make the jump over to Google Hangouts. It's so much easier, especially when you're trying to like pick out people's or video, and you can also just put everybody's video up all on the same page, and there's no editing. You just let's pull that screen over. So let's see my timestamps. 5:30, and we're gonna say 9:30. All right, so we will jump back into it. Where were we? I don't remember what we were talking about.
I don't even know.
All right, so I'm just gonna jump into it. All right, so we had a little bit of technical problems, Skype in all its glory, and we'll get back into this. So,
Thanks, Skype.
we were talking about being busy, trying to play games, trying to make content, doing all that fun stuff. You know, so this is kind of a bombshell we're going to drop right here. Mike, if you guys haven't figured it out yet, is now part of Quest for Pixels. We brought him in here to lighten the payload of all this stuff and help us get more content out. So you'll be seeing more of his beautiful face here on the podcast and on the streams and everywhere else. But so you ended up deleting your YouTube channel, and now you're bringing it back. But you said you're just keeping it labeled like Skinny Matt or whatever. So that kind of gives you a little bit more freedom, though. You know, like the Quest for Pixels thing, we came up with that because that gives us the freedom to kind of wander outside of Nintendo and, you know, talk about, you know, PC gaming and movies and all that other kind of stuff. So that's kind of nice. It gives you a little bit more freedom.
Yeah, so I can complain about my Pirates tanking by trading everybody in the last week. Yeah, like they traded Kutch today. I'm a Browns fan. I don't even have to describe the misery I'm going through there. As for being a Pirates and a Browns fan mixture, don't ask. It's complicated.
Oh, man. So my wife was watching. It was the Vikings were on. And they must have did good. I don't watch football. I don't watch sports because I don't know. I've never understood sports. But
they've done good in the last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, like she was just losing it out there. So she's been watching that, and they're going to the Super Bowl. Did we lose Matt again?
Possibly, but they're not going to the Super Bowl. By the way,
they're not. They lose?
They're going to they're going to the NFC Championship next week.
Oh, okay.
If they win there, then they'll go to the Super Bowl.
I get it. Matt, we didn't lose you.
Hey, yeah, I could hear you the whole time. No, they're going to the NFC Championship, like Mike said.
All right. Yeah, see, I don't know football. I don't know brackets. But, so, we're going to go into our topics. Mike brought a topic this week. And we have two topics this week. So, and there we figured, you know, that was why we kind of skipped over the week in review, free up a little bit more time to talk about these. So, Mike, if you want to talk about yours, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Well, we were looking at a possible topic of discussion earlier in the news arena about Kimishima. He had that interview with Mainichi newspaper out in Japan, and they had that big statement of a second crucial year, but one of the things that kind of got buried in that interview was a statement that it was going to be a game console with a long lifespan.
Yep.
And the first thing I thought of was, this console struggles to, in a hardware arena, compete with the other consoles. So how is this going to be a long lifespan? Because right now we've got consoles from the other companies that typically last about 8 years.
Yep.
And Nintendo's don't do that. So if they're thinking they can get away with an 8-year lifespan, they've got to have some kind of a plan to extend the life of the limitations that this hardware has. And so I was talking with Anthony in the Discord earlier, and he actually had an idea that the biggest problem it's going to run into is that these batteries are not going to be viable batteries in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So they've got a couple of hurdles to overcome, and I think one of the big things that they need to do is figure out a way to add more power, more ability for resolution to the Switch before the end of its life cycle.
So that when I read that, it kind of gave a little bit more weight to the idea that the Switch can be a module console, where they can just release the center, I guess just the console itself without any other attachments, and that would allow them to bring it to the market at a lower price. And since the NVIDIA is behind the the components and the put together of the system, and NVIDIA does a lot of their computer accessories and stuff like that, so they're constantly upgrading, and their like graphics cards are a very modular experience, so you're just pulling them out, putting a new one in. So if they had that in mind when they were developing the Switch, I can see the branding of the Switch lasting with the console being modular.
Right. Well, what I'm thinking about though is, if you took the dock and you took the Joy-Cons off of the Switch. You can buy a dock for $90. You can buy a pair of Joy-Cons for $80. It's $170. You can buy the whole console for $300. So you're looking at getting down to $230. I think they would probably want to be able to sell a just console piece if it was a mid console upgrade. Mm-hmm. They would probably want to sell it for at least $250. And I think you're going to have a lot of Nintendo consumers, specifically Nintendo consumers. You're going to have a lot of them upset that they're paying $250 for something that just a few years ago they bought the whole package for $300.
Yeah. I think at that point, if Nintendo can stress enough where if you look at PC gamers know it all too well. Just buying components and, having to change components out every few years just to keep on top of, running the best graphics and stuff like that. Sure. $250 is a pretty reasonable price because you're paying more than that for the new graphics card. So if they can keep, even if they stay where they're at now, if we look at just the PS4 and the Xbox One S, not the X, or not the new one, but if you're looking at just those consoles and Nintendo's about a half step behind them, I think if they continue to be a half step behind the competition, that allows them to keep their price down and still run these new games that are coming out. So, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah.
See, I didn't read the article. I heard about it. Now, when they say the lifespan, are they saying like the Switch line or the Switch console? Because I would assume they keep like the DS. I mean, it's been around. The 2DS, 3DS has been around for what, almost 10 years?
Yep.
Yeah, close.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're sitting there thinking they're going to have the multiple options. Okay, you have the Switch, and then next year, most people would call it the Switch 2 or whatever. Not next year, but 3 years down the road. But it's Nintendo, so it'll be the ultra new Galaxy Switch
Right.
XLDS FG. So
that's a good
so
point.
This is Nintendo.
I personally think the Switch, it is their last console in terms of it's going to be the Switch, then insert whatever alphabet they want to add to it, but they're not making anything else. It's going to be Switch now until maybe they decide to get into VR when there's something to do with it 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
But everyone's about it now, but that's a different discussion.
That's a really good point. I hadn't even considered that they could just kind of do what they did with the 3DS, and I wouldn't mind a Switch 2.0 in 5 years, or even, I hate the idea that they would call it the new Nintendo Switch, or the Switch XL, or actually I wouldn't mind a Switch XL.
That'd be kind of cool. I also want them to develop a Switch, like, I don't know why I want it, but I want like the Switch Mini, that everything's just attached. It's just a handheld. I don't know why I want that, but I sort of do. Because I want to waste money at Nintendo.
Yeah, I have literally zero desire for that.
See, the thing is, I play mine mostly in handheld, but it's handheld around the house. I don't take mine out too much, so.
See, like,
yeah, mine's about half and half.
Yeah, that's about how I am. I play a lot, like, in the car because my wife likes to drive, so I don't care. I hate driving. So I'll just...
Oh, correction. I'm not playing. Lindsay, my wife's playing Mario Odyssey right now. She is on the verge. Her and my son have already beat it, and I'm on, well, semi-spoiler. I'm on the Lost Island or Lost World or whatever. That's how far back I am. So
that's what was happening with mine, and I ended up just buying my wife a Switch.
I don't want to get divorced.
But now
I want to buy my wife.
What was that? Sorry.
I want to buy my wife a Switch, but the only thing she uses it for is Hulu. So.
Yeah, but you said she plays Animal Crossing, and we can all hope that comes out this year.
It's going to.
She does like Animal Crossing.
See, then you guys could play together. That was how I talked my wife into getting another 3DS, because I got her one. Because I was like, well, we got to play together. She's like, well, I'll just play on yours. I was like, no, you're missing part of the game. We have to play together. But yeah, that was a good point though. With like the way the DS line worked, they just kept modularizing. So we had the DS, then we had the DS Lite, and so on and so forth to where we're at now.
The Galaxy Edition.
Yeah.
It'll just be this Switch that's got nothing but a purple Galaxy look to it. Purple Galaxy Joy-Cons.
Is one
Purple
thing
Pro Controller.
I hope Nintendo doesn't do with the Switch is start doing the DS thing where you end up buying, you know, the Super Nintendo 3DS and all that. Like, it's okay with Joy-Cons. Do the Joy-Cons. Don't do the whole console because then, because I don't want to get sucked back into that because I started collecting 3DSs and now I have way too many and I feel guilty about them.
See,
I actually want them to
look
do
at
something. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I actually want them to do something, so in case I can convince my wife to get a second one, we can distinguish whose consoles is whose. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. But then I'll end up
Because
buying
outside the
two when I don't
Joy-Cons,
need
they're
one.
you can't tell them.
What were you saying, Mike?
I can't remember.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
So you know, his statement. The other thing I thought was interesting in that conversation is he did point out that other consoles are already making that step into the next. You know, they've already made their half step in this console life. You know, so they're already, you know, now they're a full step ahead of where the Switch at a hardware standpoint is. So, you know, now they're moving to 4K and all that kind of stuff like that. He did make the same comment about 4K that they did back in the day about HD. They're like, oh, nobody has 4K, and pretty much everybody I know has a 4K TV at this point. Not me.
I don't.
Because I spent way too much money on a plasma screen, and I can't afford another TV.
What were you
I'm
thinking
sorry.
buying a plasma screen?
No,
they
don't.
really
Don't.
swindled me into
I
it.
like my plasma. I like that's got a clearer picture. It has a higher refresh rate. I bought one of the last plasmas they made, and it was cheaper than the LEDs at the time.
We got ours, and I was really afraid because my friend, when we were in grade school, they got a plasma right when they were starting to get popular, I guess. And theirs lasted like 6 months, and it burnt up, but it only had like one fan in the back. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And it wasn't even a very big one. It was just super expensive because plasma was the new thing. But yeah, we spent too much on our TV. So hopefully, I mean, I had to change out a board. I thought the whole TV was foobarred, but it ended up just being like that little control board that like your volume control and stuff are on. I had to change that out, but now it works good, and it better stay that way. But like I said though, I thought it was funny that Kimishima made that comment that, you know, if with the whole 4K thing, they're holding off on it because of, you know, nobody has it and blah blah blah, and it might take them a few years to get on board, but then, you know, the Switch 2.0 will have that, you know, and support that.
It'll be like
Switch
with the
2.0 is gonna have a
Xbox
bigger
One.
hard drive.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say it'll be like what the Xbox One S does, where it just supports it in video to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
They're a long way away from having 4K games on a Nintendo console.
Yeah. We just kind of, like, this last 2 generations, we just got HD, so.
Yeah.
As long as they keep making good games, like, the games are fun, I really don't care about graphics. I've got a PC if I want something that's graphically intensive, so.
If you own a Nintendo, you're not in it for the graphics.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
I grew up playing Atari and a Commodore 64. It wasn't about the graphics.
So is there anything else you want to touch on out of that article?
No, that was it.
All right, so we're gonna kind of backpedal on the whole time thing and talk about our backlog blues. Being a Nintendo fan, up to, well, I've always had this ginormous backlog. I'm gonna try and keep it to just what's relevant, because I've got games from 10 years ago that I still haven't finished, that I want to finish, but I just haven't. So with the Wii U, you know, we had enough time in between games coming out that we could actually finish a game. And with the Switch so far this year, that hasn't been the case. Everybody's starting to develop a little bit of a backlog, even with just the Switch itself. So I figured we'd jump into that and talk about it. I've been itching to talk about this for like a month now. So I'll let one of you guys start.
Go ahead, Mike.
My backlog is ridiculous because of the stream mostly. Because all I'm playing right now is Mario Kart and Doom.
Exactly.
I have Xenoblade 2 sitting in my Switch, just waiting for the day that I'll rediscover it because that game is so amazing. And every time I play it, I don't want to put it down, and then I do put it down, and then Mario Kart's like, I'm still here. And I don't know. Backlog games for me though are. I don't have a whole lot of money for games, so typically if I start a game, I'm either going to finish it or I'm going to get tired of it and stop playing it.
Yeah. So that's a good point. Where do you guys call it quits for a game? Like, what's a good way? Quits. So where you quit playing it and it is not a backlog game. It's just something you bought, you played, and you put it down. At what
If I'm
point
ready
did...
to snap it in half.
Exactly. It's because I'm like Mike there with Xenoblade. You know, every time I've played it, I've had a hard time putting it down, but I have a hard time picking it back up once I do set it down.
How many hours are you into it right now?
About 20.
Oh yeah, you're further than I am. I'm only like 13.
Yeah, I think I'm right at the end of like they're called chapters, like the third chapter or
Yeah.
something like that. I spent way too much time in the first chapter because I was trying to figure out everything. So I wasn't actually. I thought I was doing story quests, but I wasn't. I was just running around doing nonsense. But you know, there's some games that I've just picked up, and I got them on sale because of all the Christmas sales and New Year's sales and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I picked up The Last of Us, and I still don't know when I'm gonna get time to play that. Like I need to just sit down and play it. It's not an overly long game, but you know, I pick these games up with intentions to play them, and sometimes they just never get played.
Okay, so here's my secret confession. I have not finished Legend of Zelda yet.
Like the
Which
original one?
one?
Or
No,
Breath of the Wild? Oh my goodness, you need to make time and finish that game. It's so
I have-
good.
I keep meaning to,
Oh.
and I have the Divine Beast. They're done.
Yo.
I just have to go to the castle and fight Ganon, and I just haven't
Oh,
sat
that's
down and
easy.
done it. Well, and you know, part of it, I don't know if you guys, if either of you saw the review that I put up on Medium of the game. Part of it is that I just kind of got burnt out on fighting the same boss over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, he had just little variation differences every time I fought him, but I mean, the only one that I felt like was really unique was the one inside of Vonavoris, the Thunderblight Ganon.
Yeah. I'd say Ganon.
yeah,
I enjoyed the Ganon fight in Breath of the Wild. I know a few people didn't, but I found it challenging enough to where it wasn't like it's still sort of the same. You know, it's Ganon, so you know exactly what you're gonna need to you know to defeat him. But it was challenging enough that I was tempted to use the Zelda amiibo to give myself more life until I finally just made it through it. But because I didn't want to spoil it. But I think Zelda, like Breath of the Wild, was more. I don't feel like there was a huge emphasis on the boss fights as much as there is just on exploring.
Yeah.
that game is nothing but exploration.
Yeah.
Period. I saw the backlog with that. I mean, I beat it, but I own it for the Wii U, not the Switch, because my amazing wife picked it up for me for the Wii U when I couldn't explore a Switch on release day. Just I couldn't pre-order it because I was out of town and all that stuff went down. But anyhow, so my Wii U's out of hard drive space. So I'm like, but now that so hopefully I can do the second part of the DLC here. I'm just gonna have to delete stuff and just bite the bullet. So
Yeah. I've been having fun with that DLC. It was frustrating to say the least, but I found out when I finished it that I did it from like the hardest segment to the easiest segment, so that's why I was so frustrated. And I also didn't like understand that like you could use other weapons at the time either. But I thought you were just like stuck to the one weapon, so I was trying to make it through just using the one weapon that you get, and yeah, that didn't work out. I've got like backlogs. I've got just a Zelda backlog. Like there's, you know, like out of all the games, there's still, I'd say, I don't know, half of them that I've never finished to completion. Like, and there's one that I really want to finish. I want to finish Skyward Sword, but the frickin' waggle controls drive me nuts. So I make it about the same spot every time. I make it through the first like 3 temples, and then I just set it down because I get so tired of the waggle. If I could play that one with a controller, I'd love it.
The hand holding, I
Yeah.
can't. I mean, it is the worst Zelda game, excluding the the 3DO ones.
Yeah.
But still, a bad Zelda game is still better than half the games out there. So, yeah, that's one I still have to finish. So,
but
don't even
just
wanna-
like, so just like on the Switch though, I mean, there's a few new ones that I've picked up and that I got for Christmas and stuff. But I mean, I've got like I wrote down a few of them. I have 9 Parchments, which I still haven't played. Resident Evil, the Revelations game, I got 1 and 2. I got like the double pack or whatever for Christmas, and I think I'm about halfway through the first one. So I still have those ones. I picked up Oxenfree, and I'm about, I don't know, 2 hours into Oxenfree, and I really want to finish that one because it's interesting. And the Golf Story, LA Noire, Xenoblade, Mario and Rabbids, and then, I mean, even going back into, like, in the 3DS, I have piles of games in the 3DS that I picked up and I played, but I never finished. So I'm horrible, but like, I have gamer ADD where, like, I have that, back in the day when you had the Super Nintendo and you just pop a game in, play it for 10 minutes, pop another game in, play it for 10 minutes, go down to the video store, rent 3 other different games that you've never played, pop them in, and that's how I am now with my Switch. Like, I just play a game for 10 minutes, stop that one, jump into the next one, play that one for 10 minutes. Unless, I mean, there's games like, Mario Kart and Splatoon and Doom. Those 3 have probably been my most played so far on the Switch. But we stream them, and like, I just rediscovered how much I loved both Mario Kart and Splatoon.
Yeah, in terms of backlog for me, I mean, a lot of times, Overcooked, Mario Kart. The kids have been playing Mario Kart a lot, and that's kind of picked up playing with them. But I was looking at my Switch earlier today. I have 165 hours logged into Stardew Valley.
Damn.
At one point, that sucked.
That's one on my backlog.
That one,
Well,
I have
that game
one
doesn't
too.
end. So.
I've got, like, there's a certain point I want to reach. Like, I want to have the entire farm, like, the entire area for your farm developed. And I'm still, like, I'm 35 or 40 hours into that game, and I'm still just up in the right-hand corner still.
Well, I'm in year 4. I'm in year 5. I'm in the summer of year 5 right now. And I never played Stardew Valley before, and it's one of those situations. I started playing it, I got it, and I'm like, oh, this kind of sucks. And everyone's like, you need to look into like things to do for beginners. Just read stuff on YouTube videos. I watched a couple with no spoilers. They were just, here's what you need to do to get started, and go from there. I'm like, all right. So I did. So after I made some poor decisions, I started a new file. Was going through that, and then my scythe disappeared. It was just gone. So I had to start over again. I tried to play a couple days and thought maybe I left it in the chest. Nope. So I started again. I'm like, as you can tell from what I was drinking, I'm a bit of a beer guy. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to make a brewery. So I started with the plans of that. Then I learned that there's not as much money in that as there is with the winery. So, yeah, I'm making money like crazy. But, yeah, that just, like I said, I was already at 60 hours before I reset to what I'm playing now. So,
yeah, dude, after playing that one, because I picked it up on computer and played about 5 minutes of it, got lost in the dark and couldn't make my way back to the farm, and then I just stopped playing it. Like a month later, they announced it coming to the Switch, so I just never played it again until it came out on Switch. And that's like one of those perfect, like, desert island games. Like, you can play it forever, and you can start over and play, completely different than you did the first time, and it's a good game.
Concerned Nate has just said that he has completed the additional stuff he's going to put into it, and he's trying to complete the because it's been in beta. He's finishing up the multiplayer online stuff.
Yeah, dude,
so.
I'm excited for that multiplayer. We need to start a Quest for Pixels farm. That'll be sweet. So talking about that, when to set a game down, or when you finally just cast a game away, like, there's a few games that I still have, you know, that I've never finished. Like I was talking about Skyward Sword. Like, it bothers me that I have never finished that game, because that's the only console Zelda that I've never finished. And I don't know, every time I jump into it, try to play it, I just can't make it farther than like the second or third temple. I don't know, it drives me nuts. I just don't like it, and I feel bad that I don't like a Zelda game. But I think, you know, that's at a point where you know, you put it on the shelf and just, you know, it's there. It's a game that I played, and it's just gonna stay there. Right now, I feel good because I don't have my games behind me. Normally, I have like my entire game collection behind me, but they're all packed away in boxes right now, so it's good. I don't have to look at them. So what's a game that you guys have that is like that, you know, a game that's on your backlog that really frustrates you that you've never finished, if you guys have one of those?
The original Metroid.
Oh, dude, that's a great game.
I was 9 years old, 10 years old when I tried playing it originally, and it's too much for a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And then I got through quite a bit of it in college finally, and then just things got in the way, and it's on my NES Classic, and I started playing it, and once again, life's just getting in the way. So I get back to it, I'm like, all right, get back to it, and once I get back to it, there's just, I'm like, what the hell was I doing? You know, it doesn't matter if I put 3-4 hours into it or whatever. And it's like, I just completely lost. And then I get discouraged because I know I have to start all over. So
that game, I never finished it. I played it when I was young. My friend had an NES, original NES, and they had that game. And I remember playing it when I was about the same age, like 7 or 8. And then I never picked it up again until I played Zero Mission it was on Advanced, Game Boy Advance. I got that one and played through it, and then just, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, I picked up the original Metroid on the 3DS, and I played through it, and then I set it down for 5 minutes and picked it up, played through it again, and that was kind of like, I was actually getting to the point where I was like speedrunning it. And I have a problem with the original Zelda. I have the same problem that you're having with Metroid with the original Zelda. I've beat it once, and I want to go back through it and not use a guide, like just play through it. And I pick it up and start playing and then set it down. Then I can't remember what I did, where I was at, and you end up just restarting.
I don't think for me there's a single game, but rather a franchise, and that's the Halo series.
Okay.
I beat the first game, and I have never finished another Halo game to completion in the story mode. And it drives me crazy because I like the stories that they tell. I start to get frustrated with the fighting in the game. I'm not really a big FPS person to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And so playing through the game starts to get me really, like, I'm never going to beat this mission, and I'm not going to see what happens next anyways. So I
that's how I
quit
feel about Metroid
every
Prime.
Halo game. My most recent one was I started playing through, I bought the Master Chief Collection because I found it on eBay for like brand new for like $15.
Nice.
And I started playing it, and I took probably 45 minutes just to get through the first level. And, well, I haven't picked it up since then, actually.
Dude, so
I'm
I have a gaming confession that, so the Metroid Prime series, I've never finished any of them.
Neither have I. They're okay. I played the original Metroid Prime, and people are gonna hate me for this, but it's just I'm meh.
I think the problem I
Like
have...
they're like Metroid Prime 4 announcement. I'm like, give me another 2D. Don't give me one on a 2DS or 3DS. I don't own a. I've never owned a 3DS. So
Okay.
anything, I've never owned a handheld. So
If you ever have,
I-
side note, if you ever have the extra cash sitting around to pick up even a used 3DS or whatever, or if I send you one of my
Extra
5,
cash.
I have like 5,000 of them, so I could send you one. That backlog on that game, like it has such an amazing
know.
collection of games.
And I mean, they at least didn't they put Chrono Trigger out on it? Anyhow, that might have been
think
DS, but
Yeah, Chrono Trigger's
was
on DS.
Yep.
yeah.
With the Metroid games, I made it pretty far into the first one. I don't know what happened. I set it down. I think I moved on to the Wii at that point when I finally got it for GameCube. But the thing that bothered me is I get into a game like that because you were scanning the stuff around you in the world, and I always felt like I was missing something. So I wasted way too much time looking for stuff to scan, and at that point it was just starting to drive me nuts, and I have like OCD about it. And that's another thing, like with games, I'll pick them up. A lot of RPG games, I pick them up and I feel like I'm doing it wrong, so I overstress myself out about like what I'm doing and everything. I waste a bunch of time, and then I just set it down. Then it just goes off to the cave to die.
So how you didn't want to get in those balloons on Mario, or I mean balloons, jeez, the moons on Mario Odyssey?
I am at
Because you can't get them all from the first time through. You have to.
No way. Like I went back and I think I'm at just under 400. My wife is kicking my ass. She's at like almost 500.
Yes, I'm in the same situation. Like I said, everyone else in my family has beat the game, but me. So
I've beat the game, but I've only got like the 150 moons or something that it took to do it.
Yes, that's where I was at. I was like right somewhere between 150 and 200 when I beat the game.
yeah, my
I was
10-year-old
going nuts.
son's working.
I was going nuts on the first level. That OCD was kicking in, and I had to nip it in the bud because I was trying to collect every single moon from the first the desert level. And finally, I was like, I gotta move on. There's people that are finishing this game.
I'm to the point. If I can get to play it, I want to play it, and then I just want to quickly get through it and beat it, and then go back and get everything because I'm just But I'm just curious. Just ask. Go back to what you said about 15 minutes ago. When you did you end up picking up Oxenfree for $5? Because I was going to say, if you haven't buy it, get it now. But the $5 sale was done. It was on sale for $5 yesterday. I looked this morning. It's back to $20.
Oh man, yeah, I picked it up on sale. I think I paid $14.99. It was like one of the first sales. It was or when it first went on sale in November or something like that.
Well, I bought it a couple weeks ago for $5, $4.99.
Awesome.
It's good. Just trying to figure out what's going on. I know some people have already played it and stuff, but I kind of starting to pick up what's going on, but
it's a very
it just has that nice tension.
Yeah, it's like a kind of like a psychedelic thing going on a little bit.
I have no idea what this game is about.
It's so it's kind of like, did you play Firewatch? Or
No.
did you ever see anything about Firewatch? It's kind of like one of those, like a storytelling. I don't think you can't die, but you always feel like you're gonna die. I don't think you can die in the game at least.
But I think choices you make affect the outcome of the story.
Yeah. Like, so everything you're doing affects the ending
Like
of the
a
game.
Telltale game?
Yeah, like a Telltale game.
But it
it's
doesn't
like
have like those like cutscenes where it's like,
No, it's all like a 2D, sort of like retro-ish looking. It's not completely pixelated, but it's like a retro-esque looking game. And yeah, it's like a storytelling, and like I said, you constantly feel like you're gonna die. Like everything's scaring the hell out of me. And then you get through it, and it's like, well, that was silly. Why was I so afraid?
Yeah, it just has that tension. It's great. It's eerie enough to just get that tension to get your just kind of keep you on your toes. But it's not like
Is
not
it
like
in the
Resident
horror
Evil
genre?
Yeah, I'd say
Okay.
it's like a pseudo horror. It's trying to be. I'd say it's more along the lines of a suspense game.
Yeah. I'd agree. It's paranormal suspense.
Yeah, it's trippy.
Kind of X-Files.
Yeah, like X-Files. That's a good way to put it. Or what was that other?
Fringe.
No, it was an old. I think it was like 60s.
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, yeah.
Oh, dude, if you haven't, you gotta go back and watch. Oh, you gotta watch it on Netflix. Oh,
Twilight Zone was?
yes.
Oh
I
man,
didn't even realize that was on Netflix.
I need to watch
Yeah,
it.
all the old black and white ones are fantastic.
Dude, one of my friends used to watch the crap out of that show. Like every Sunday, him and his dad would sit down. Like they had like the entire box collection on DVD, and they'd sit down and just start watching them.
Oh, it's some of the stuff's so cliche now, but that was the first time it was done then.
Yeah.
Black Mirror is probably the modern version of that, but not to get sidetracked or anything.
Yeah. So,
And my TV backlog is way bigger than my game backlog.
oh, dude, like, so I'm horrible when it comes to like a Netflix series or something like that, or something. You know, everybody's like, "Oh, you should watch this series," and me and my wife sit down and just binge watch all of it. Like, I think in the last month, I've probably watched the entire season, like every season of The Office, twice through. I mean, like when I sit down and start watching stuff, I just binge watch the hell out of it. Like we started watching 100 because like our niece told us that, like she's like, oh yeah, the 100 is really good. We watched all of it in a weekend. We just watched every single episode.
So if we don't know where you are for a weekend, it's probably that you got hooked on Netflix.
Yeah, if I
Check your
disappear.
Netflix account.
So that kind of brings up another point with you know our impressive backlogs and games that I'm never gonna finish. I was really excited about some of the games porting over, like Skyrim, and just for the fact that there's some of these games I want to play and take with me, and that's just the idea of being able to take Skyrim with me is awesome. But the same thing happened. I was playing it and then I set it down, and now I've never gone back to it. I finished Skyrim before. I played it on Xbox and I'd finished it, but I mean, just playing that game I kind of treat it more like Zelda, where I'm not actually looking for the end point. I'm just running around doing stuff and seeing what I can do.
Yeah, that's one game I've never played, and it's like next on my list to get, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, do I really need something I can dump another? I'm guessing it's probably 100 and some hours to play that
easy.
game. I'm being
If you stick to the storyline, I think you could probably finish it in 50.
No, I'm not going to stick to the storyline.
Exactly. You'll get 5 minutes into the game and you'll just be somewhere that
You
you
put
should have
baskets
been.
on people's heads.
So that also, like some of the stuff they've announced, like with that mini direct and stuff like that. Is there anything in that you know you can't wait for, or you're gonna pick up day one?
Almost nothing.
Nah.
That's
I mean, it
about
was a
how
good
I am.
mini direct, but nah,
The Kirby game looked interesting, but not interesting enough to pick it up on day one.
Yeah. I'm excited for the Mario Tennis game because they're going back to like the GBA one. I don't know if it's day one for me, but I'm excited to play that one at some point. That and that brutally hard game that everybody keeps talking about that I've never played. What's it called? They announced it from Software makes it.
They're gonna murder us about not knowing the name of this.
Well, we're Nintendo fans.
Because it's where the whole get good meme comes from. I said meme.
Yep.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that one, just because I've never played it.
Well, that's gonna add that to my backlog to Skyrim. Okay, there's another 5,000 hours that's gone.
I mean, so that's
That's one of those games that I'll play if I have it, but I'm not looking to get it. So
Yeah,
Well, I can't play it in front of the kids.
yeah, exactly. That's another thing.
So,
But it's nice to have the Switch because you can just put it right in your face. No one else has to look at it.
well, I gotta pull it away from the wife and kids, anyways.
I have a 4-year-old who will crawl all over me to see what I'm doing.
I got a 10-year-old kid on the spectrum, so I have to be totally cautious of what I put in front of him because it can get bad. So.
And we got our 3-year-old is a parrot right now and will repeat anything that he hears. And curse words are his favorite to repeat.
Yes, the 2-year-old, about to be 3. Yes.
So, I guess one other game that I wanted to hint at or talk about that I picked up and then my 3DS died and I haven't played it again was the Ace Attorney game. I guess it must be the newest Ace Attorney, but I've never played an Ace Attorney game before. And I picked it up, played about 10 minutes of it, set it down with full intentions of going back. Then my DS died and our house caught on fire and I don't know where my DS charger is, so... that one's gonna take a while.
House fire? Well, come on, really? That's a poor excuse.
Excuses.
I was talking about my kids are my excuse. So.
I don't know. Have you guys ever played? Well, I guess Matt, you haven't.
No, I've heard of it. That's about it.
Have you ever played them, Mike?
I've heard of it. I've never played it. I don't think I ever had an interest in playing it.
See, and that's kind of how I was too, because I don't know, just the whole crime-solving thing wasn't really interesting, but I picked up L.A. Noire on Switch and played quite a bit of that one, and I really enjoyed that, like, it's almost puzzle-esque, puzzle-solving sort of thing. You're, collecting clues and then trying to nail down the right person. So that's kind of what drove me to pick it up on 3DS. Plus, it was on sale. And I think it was like $12 or something like that. And I was like, well, I might as well pick it up because eventually I'll get to it. But I say that on a lot of games, especially the 3DS, that I never get to.
You want to talk about clearance sales? I picked up for the kid. I picked up Yoshi's Woolly World with the amiibo for the Wii U for $15.
Nice.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it's crazy the amount of games that are out there that I just, as I've gotten older, I just had to like I love RPGs, like JRPGs, RPGs, all of it. I love the hell out of them. But now I'm at a point where I have to get real picky with what I'm going to pick up because I'll end up just wasting my money buying some run-of-the-mill RPG and never playing it, even though it's my favorite genre of games. It's just I forgot how much time. Well, when I was 15, I had no problems, dumping 150 hours into a game.
Yeah.
Now I have a family and responsibilities, and I can't do that.
I travel. I have to travel for work, so at times I left like I said, my job site was an hour and a half away today. I mean, I was up at 5 a.m. Didn't get home till 7. So.
Other people. When we were growing up, though, the games that you had, if you had an RPG, that might be the only game you had for a while.
Yeah, definitely.
When we had Final Fantasy VII, I was in high school when we had Final Fantasy VII, and that was...
I feel so old.
And
man, I'll make you feel real old. I'm young.
And that was... we didn't have any other PlayStation games.
Yeah.
So I dumped over 100 hours into Final Fantasy VII. I never beat it because I could never beat the boss, but we just never had any other games to play. Now I'm overwhelmed with how many games I have to play, and I still have a pretty tight budget on what I can spend on games.
Yep.
Yes. Budget. I think thank God for a budget, because even though I did blow it out of my budget for the year last year, it's helped me control my backlog. There's a lot of games I want to get, but I just can't.
See, that's like this time of year, because throughout the year I spend relatively a lot less than I do like this time of year, but we have all the sales and it's like, oh, this game's only $8 and all that. So I get myself into this, even like with Steam's horrible, where they're like, this game's 75 cents. It's like, oh wow, that's a $20 game. And I end up picking up a bunch of that stuff. And like computer games I'll never get to. I buy them with good intentions of playing, but I will never get to a computer game.
I buy computer games fully well knowing that I'm buying it because it's on Humble Bundle and it's going to charity.
Yeah, see, that's where I usually go to. Like, I'll pick up the Humble Bundles because I feel a lot less worse. Or, like, I feel not so bad spending that money because I know it's going to a good place. It's not just going to Walmart.
I slide the bar all the way over for charity. I'm like, nobody else is getting my money, just charity, because I'm never going to play half these games anyways.
Yep. But, yeah, man, so... There's a ton of games we got to play. And, well, I guess I take that back. So on the whole mini direct, I am kind of excited for Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, because that's one I never played much on the Wii U. and I like the Donkey Kong series until they completely drive me nuts and I can't beat them. But I'm excited to play that
Jacob
one.
Rush like Donkey Kong?
Yeah, Jacob Rush
I think
loves Donkey
something
Kong.
listening, he's kind of like him or something. But I don't know.
Just a little bit. Just
Just
a
a
little
tiny
bit.
bit. I don't know why he likes it. It's just a garbage. Just God, ugh.
It's Bobby Hot Trash in the summer, right?
The only thing about the Tropical
I've-
Freeze is you can buy that on Wii U right now for $20 as a Nintendo
Yep.
Select.
Yeah.
And when they bring it to the Switch, you know they're going to charge $60 for it.
Oh, dude, that kind of sucks. Like, I'd be okay with it being one of those, like, you know, like a $29.99 game. Like, that's where that one should be at. But
It
They
should
ported-
be, and in reality, are going to be two different things, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, if it
though-
doesn't sell, they'll mark it down.
Yeah.
No, they won't. They're Nintendo.
that's-
They won't.
They'll mark it down in a couple of years.
Exactly. It'll take 2 or 3 years for it to be for the Nintendo Select game to be a Nintendo Select game for the Switch.
Version Galaxy Edition.
I think though the games that are coming, like that I'm like most excited for to jump into, that I will set other stuff aside to play, is the Bayonetta games when they come out on Switch. I've never played a Bayonetta game ever. I never picked it up on Wii U, and I don't know. It just looks like I feel like that's something that I at least need to try.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in looking at the first and second Bayonetta games when they come out, because I've never played one either.
Yeah. I really wanted that special edition.
yeah, I've never played
because
one.
It's like just the hypersexualization of it. It was just hilarious to me, and I really wanted that. Like, I think it's called the Climax edition or Climax set
Yeah,
or something like that.
Something like that.
I was like, God, I gotta pick that up just because of the name. Special editions get me too, because like sometimes my wife makes the mistake of leaving the debit card with me when we're shopping, and I'm like, oh, look at that special edition, you're coming home with me. But
Being special. Oh, I don't understand. I was in a Walmart the other day, and they had the Zelda Explorers edition.
yeah, oh yeah,
It was only $45.
really.
The regular edition, $60. I was like,
That's a good deal. If
almost came
anybody
home with
needs
it.
that game, go look at that. Like, that's a really good
it's not in
price.
every store. It's. I
think
was
that
in the middle of nowhere.
misleading.
Oh,
No. It was. I asked out, but I was also out in the middle of nowhere, New York, up in the North Country. So
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, middle of nowhere, fella. You come to Baker,
Yo.
Montana. This is literally the middle of nowhere.
Why is it that everywhere named Baker is like in the middle of nowhere?
But
Montana, period, is the middle of nowhere.
pretty much,
It's true.
I think we have less people per square mile than like anywhere else. Like
Except maybe
we-
Alaska.
Yeah, except for Alaska's that they're up there with us. Like at one point, Denver, Colorado had more people than the entire state of Montana. until the Californians started moving up here because they wanted to be part of nature or something. They stay away from
Just-
eastern Montana because there's literally nothing out here except for flat land and grass. So
So just one congressional district for the whole state, then, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, because we only have
One area code.
Yep, one area code.
Oh, even West Virginia has two area codes.
Yeah, we are
Oh no, it doesn't.
406.
Never mind. I straight that.
We are 406 across the entire state.
Oh my god. Just to let you know, when I lived in Atlanta, we had 3 area codes just for Metro Atlanta. So
Oh, dude, that was like when I sent Tony his seat, or his OP chair. I was looking for, like, I got his, and just mailing anything to Canada is just a pain. But like looking for his area code, like or shipping code, like there is so many
Yes.
freaking different, because they're like
one
divided in,
3BA4.
and there's like 5 different ones for one city, and that just blows me out of the water. I
That's
can't
why
imagine.
when I shipped him the cereal, I told him, I need your whole address. Just send it to me in a message. I don't want to have to guess on anything.
You shipped to Canada? I still have extra boxes. I was gonna get to some people in Canada. I'm like, I can't really spend $35 to ship internationally. and I can't ask you to spend $35 now. I mean, I could drive to Canada in an hour, hour and a half, but I gotta find the time to do it.
Yeah, man.
If I ship through the Canadian Post, it's only like $10. But
yeah, dude, that chair
Canadian.
when I took that chair down to the post office to send it, I was expecting like $200 because it's a 60-pound chair, not 500. I was like, oh my god! I just towed it back out, and I went and found UPS because I could ship it UPS for $110, which is relatively cheap for international. Plus, it's a 60-pound giant ass box.
Yeah.
But wow, we got off topic.
No, just a
I don't
little.
Anyway,
I didn't even get into my backlog.
what games?
The only game I've beat on the Switch that I own is Steam World Dig 2. Everything
That's a
else
good
is a
one.
partial. Oxenfree, Golf Story. I barely touched the one-player mode in Splatoon.
There's a one-player mode in Splatoon.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about all the Call of Duty games.
Mario Rabbids.
Dude, I got to Mario
Stardew
Rabbids.
Valley took too much time.
Mario Rabbids pissed me off, and I said,
It's in the I got like okay I play Mutant Mods, and after I play about 15 minutes I have so much fun, but I'm so pissed off that I have to play something else. But it's if I can get to it, it's Rocket League or Mario Kart or Splatoon, just stuff I can pick up, play for 10-15 minutes, and
yo,
that's about it.
I'm a big fan of games that have arcade modes. Like, that's how I've been playing Doom. It's like the single player in Doom, I just go to the arcade mode and go, it's like high score sort of thing. And then you at least know that in 10 minutes you're going to be done and you can save and go on with your day.
My SNES Classic still sitting in a box. I was looking last night. I think I was telling you when we were playing Splatoon. It was sitting on the floor in front of the television. It's like, and I need to play Final Fantasy 3 or 6, whatever you want to call it, again. I haven't for another podcast, and it's like I really need to start playing this. And it's like I can't.
Yeah, dude, I'd love to get into that one. Me and Tony finished Link to the Past. We did a dual stream with that one, and that was the first time I ever beat that one. But I never beat that one. I liked it. Not as much as Link Between
Ocarina of Time,
Worlds, though.
Ocarina of Time totally took the story out of, well, not the story, but the whole format from Link to the Past. So.
Yeah, dude, Ocarina of Time is, like, I saw people, they were talking, because, like, this year's the 25th anniversary for Ocarina of Time, and,
it's the third best Zelda game, but anyhow.
dude, Ocarina of Time was, that one's still, I don't know, with Breath of the Wild, I don't know, like, Breath of the Wild's a solid number 2 for me. Ocarina of Time's still number 1, but I like the 3DS version of it. I like the 3DS version better because they fixed that damn water temple.
Well, try to do that in the Gerudo Village, the target practice, without having motion controls to assist you.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I remember playing that one on N64, and it took me a lot longer to beat it on that than when I played it on 3DS. But like Mike said, though, I didn't have a ton of other games that I was popping in, you know, so the only way I played different games is I went to the video store and rented it for 2 days, but you can never finish anything in 2 days, so...
Should have been like me. I worked at a video store, so...
Exactly. Lucky. Anyways, so that was a pretty good topic. Got a lot of conversation out of it. Got some side topics out of the way, too.
A little
Chase a
side,
few
just a
rabbits.
little. Just a little.
Squirrel!
Ooh, what's this shiny thing over here?
So we are just crossing that hour mark. So Matt, you want to pimp out your Twitter and where everybody can find you?
If you're in the Facebook stuff, you can find me pretty much in any of the groups, whether it's the Indie Podcasts. Well, Quest for Pixels doesn't have a group, but I just found within the last week found your page. Nintendo Gurus, Warp Whistle, all that stuff. I can find me at Twitter at SkinnyMattK, and once I get the YouTube stuff situated, you can find it there too. Awesome. Give me a couple weeks. After 4 hours of not being able to get YouTube to download, I just don't even want to look at YouTube right now. So
Awesome.
Well, and tweet out a bunch of that information so we can retweet
yes,
it. for you.
it will.
Yeah.
Once everything gets updated, I will tweet that out.
Perfect.
Don't worry.
So, Quest for Pixels this week is brought to you guys by OP Seat. It's the wonderful chair that I'm sitting in right now. It's very comfy, and it was the most affordable computer chair that, like, one of these fancy racing seat computer chairs that I found, and you can pick it up at opseat.com. I think they're like $180, so if you got the money floating around or whatever and need a comfy seat, you can use the coupon code Q4P and you'll get $10 off your order. So that's pretty cool. We've got a competition going on right now for a $75 Amazon gift card. So we did it that way because that way you can get whatever game or whatever you want, really, I guess. I was just thinking in the realm of games because last time we gave away a Switch game. This time you can buy whatever you want. So that's going on. There will be a link to that in the description. And what else do we got? What am I forgetting, Mike? I'm bad at hosting.
That was the big thing. Just, make sure you continue to follow us on Twitter at Quest 4 Pixels, YouTube.com/Quest 4 Pixels, Twitch.tv/Quest, spell it out, FOR Pixels.
Awesome.
And then you can find each of us on Twitter as well. You want to give out yours first?
Yep. I am Nintenshell on Twitter, and just Sheldon on Facebook. I'm pretty much in the same like Matt, all the different groups. There's the Quest for Pixels. I guess it's the fan page kind of thing set up. That's just Quest 4 Pixels on Facebook. And then you can find Mike at... Got you set up.
Mike BC 1985.
Perfect, yeah, and we are streaming still. We kind of got a little bit of rhythm to the chaos now. Sundays are Mario Kart days. Saturdays are Splatoon days. And then throughout the rest of the week, it's kind of just a little bit all over the place still. But we try to stream every other day usually, besides setting off Mondays. So you can find us at both, like Mike said, on both Twitch and YouTube. We stream to both when we stream, so there's that. There's a couple new shows that we're working on that are still in the planning, but hopefully within the next month we will have probably both of them going. The first one is called Better Late Than Never. So that kind of plays off of our conversation today, the backlog. There's a bunch of games that people rave about, that if we can pick them up on sale, like I got Last of Us, will be the first one that I'm playing. I picked it up for $9, so I'm going to play through that one. And then what the show will be is, talking about everybody at the beginning, everybody before the fact that we picked it up, and what everybody else's feelings were, the reviews on the games and stuff like that, and then really how we feel about the game. Did we really miss out on much? After you finish it, you kind of get that feeling, did I need to play this, or it was amazing. So we'll have that one going. And then we also have another show that's kind of cool, is the Quest for Pixels show and tell. And what that is everybody's got this collection of gaming stuff, whether it's a awesome custom controller that you have, or your big ass amiibo collection, or a really specific amiibo that you found, or special edition PS4, something like that. We're gonna do a show. It'll have both, or well, I guess all three of us. It'll have Mike, Tony, and me, and then we will have guests come on. And you can bring whatever you feel like showing everybody and talking about, and kind of just an outlet to that, because we got these awesome things and we have to figure out how to show them off, because I have nobody that lives in Baker that I can show all my cool stuff to. That, and what was really making me think about it was somebody was talking about on one of the Facebook groups, they were talking about a lunch pail, like one of those old style, like the plastic lunch pails, and I had the I think it's Mario 2, I think. Either way, it's this awesome lunch pail. Well, somebody had posted a picture of it like on eBay or whatever, and it's worth like they were selling it for like $65. I was like, it's a piece of plastic, and I have it on my shelf. But that's what made me think about doing that, though. So we'll be working on that show. The podcast is still going. Mike, he's going to start being on the podcast with us and on the YouTubes and the Twitches and all that fun stuff. So we got another pixel to add to the group. And yeah, that's kind of the update situation. Tony's in Japan, so he'll be hit and miss for the next month. So he will...
Is he going to be gone that long? I thought it was 2 weeks.
No, he'll be back on February 14th, I believe, or the 13th.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So
Wow.
so he gets a
So
whole
that's
month
it.
over there. So he'll be, like I said, hit and miss. But me and Mike will try to hold this show together and not let it burn to the ground without him being here. He's our hostess with the mostest, so, and I ramble, so that's why I don't host.
I did want to ask you, just on a side note, your whole Saturday night Splatoon stuff, you can start calling it Splatterday Night.
Oh, dude, good name.
Come on.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah. So, because we'll forget it otherwise.
Exactly. Splatterday Nights. Perfect.
Oh, it's
Awesome.
so cheesy. It's perfect.
You heard it here first.
Yep.
So, yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing. We'll be streaming this week. I go back to work this week, so I won't have the late night stuff going on. Like we had late night Mario Kart last night. Oh, big shout out! So we have community shout outs. Big shout out.
I even
to
highlighted
Kojak.
it. Come on.
But I don't have it pulled up right now. Kojak, he is a regular in the streaming community with us.
Yeah.
He gave us a donation last night, and that's the first, I guess, official donation we've gotten with the streams, and just wanted to give him a big thank you. He is wonderful and awesome. So that's that.
Yes, he is. He's awesome, and also Yoshi Phoenix. The two of them make up our YouTube mod squad. So we want to just give a big thank you to them for keeping everything together in the chat room when we're not paying attention.
Exactly. They're keeping old Will under control. That guy, holy crap.
It's so true.
He's kind of flattering because he's our first troll.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen him in a few days though.
You
I
have
know,
trolls.
he's-
You made it to the big time then.
Yeah.
So that, I guess, will wrap up the show this week. Thank you guys all for listening. Make sure you share us with a friend, like and follow us everywhere. We're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So yeah, we will catch you
Leave
guys
an
next
iTunes
week.
review.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too. We need some iTunes reviews. So if you're feeling like it and you have a giant heart, leave us 5 stars. If you hate us, leave us 1 star. I don't care. I'll read it on the podcast. So yeah, that will wrap it up. Thank you, Matt, for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will catch you guys next week.